Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and I hope you will enjoy this afternoon here with us. My name is Oni. I am a TIEC resident, and I am currently studying at the University of Tokyo, and I will be your MC for the day. Today's program is designed not only to raise awareness about the immediate challenges our society faces, but also to highlight these challenges means infinite opportunities for aspiring social entrepreneurs. We will start our day with a welcome address from TIEC's director, Naoki Muto-san, followed by Social Innovation Parks chapter head Arvind Panwar. After the welcome address, we'll have our keynote speech from P.O. Egberg, who will talk about sustainability and social business. At the end of Mr. Egberg's speech, we'll have an interactive Q&A session where you can direct your questions to him. Then our TIEC friends will share with us few life-changing stories from their own countries. The idea behind this session is not only to serve as a source of inspiration for all of us, but also to give some clues about scalable and replicable social innovations that exist in other societies. Later in the afternoon, we'll take a quick coffee break before starting with our fishbowl, which is a panel discussion with a difference. The panel discussion constitutes of different representatives from various domains, and it will be moderated by Todd Porter. You must be wondering what the difference is. Well, we would like for you to join the stage here with us, engaging in a Q&A session with our panelists. We will give a brief explanation about this fishbowl before the session actually starts. After the fully loaded afternoon, we would like to invite you to join us for dinner before we close for the day. I hope that you will enjoy your afternoon here with us, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask any of our staff members. Thank you. So, now, to begin our program, I would like to invite on the stage Naoki Muto-san, director of TIEC. Muto-san, dozo.
Hello, the residents of Tokyo International Exchange Center, and I would like to extend my hearty welcome to the audience. I am Naoki Muto. I am the director of Tokyo International Exchange Center. I would like to extend my hearty welcome to the audience for coming to the 29th Research and Presentation Program of TIEC, namely the TIEC Social Entrepreneurs Forum. Before the opening, I would like to make a brief opening remark on behalf of the organizers. In our Tokyo International Exchange Center, we have visitors and residents from 72 countries, and we have well over 900 students and researchers, both from Japan and other parts of the world. In order to formulate intellectual network and to promote further exchange of academic research and exchanges, we have been actively engaged in various efforts to obtain our goal. So this symposium in line with our objective. So there are residents at Tokyo International Exchange Center. And the interesting part of this forum is that the residents of TIEC were actively engaged in organizing this forum. First of all, we would like to introduce One World representative and environmental consultant, Mr. P.O. Egberg, and he's going to give us a keynote speech. And also, the residents of TIEC are invited to make a speech on the podium. And also, we are going to ask Japanese entrepreneurs and students to share their precious views with us. And after that, it will be followed by a panel discussion. And the panelists would include people who are quite familiar with social entrepreneurship in Asian countries. And we hope that the panelists will be engaged in active exchange of views. By taking a part in this forum, I sincerely hope that people here would have deeper understanding of the social entrepreneurship, and people can come up with innovative ideas as to what they can do to help change our society for the better. So, in organizing this forum, there are so many panelists who will be willing to make a speech on this podium. And despite their busy schedule, they were quite active in making several preparations for this day. And Social Innovation Park and TIEC members and Secretariat, I would like to extend my hearty gratitude for them. And with that, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mucho-san, for your kind words supporting this event. Our next speaker is the man behind this event, the man that inspired us, sometimes annoyed us, but in the end he managed to pull together a great event that hopes to raise awareness about the immediate social and environmental matters and encourage us all to take the challenge to address these issues. Please welcome to the stage the chapter head of Social Innovation Park Japan, Arvind Panwar.
Thank you, Oni, and good afternoon, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure in welcoming you all on behalf of Social Innovation Park, Japan, to its first ever forum on sustainability and social entrepreneurship. Thank you very much for taking off your time and joining us today. Just to give a quick introduction about me, my name is Arvind, and I represent Social Innovation Park, Japan. And I came to Japan in mid-2001 to work at Sony Corporation, and in late 2008 I quit my job to venture into social entrepreneur world. In my continuous search for more meaningful life, I was fortunate to have met many inspiring souls who encouraged me and supported me. And one of them happens to be the founder of Social Innovation Park, Ms. Penny Lowe. After meeting Penny, we decided to start a Tokyo chapter and slowly work towards building a small and strong community, rather international community, driven by action-oriented youth. A self-driven community that can, over the time, start addressing some of the critical issues in their societies through various collaborations. And TSEF is our first big step towards realization of this vision. Today we are here for various reasons. To learn what social entrepreneurship is and clarify our doubts. To learn from different experts that we have today. To learn from each individual who's got a strong will, how he can start making a difference towards society. And definitely to network with like-minded people. You must be wondering why we are doing this at TIEC. Well, by bringing students and experts from various fields together under one roof, who are concerned about social and environmental issues, TSCF hopes to create an environment where you can meet like-minded talents from all the backgrounds and sow the seeds for new future partnerships. TIEC, Social Entrepreneurship Forum, aims to promote collaboration between Japanese and international students interested in working together in the future on change-making projects to mutually benefit their societies. TIC is the best place where these collaborations can happen. TIEC is a place where talents from across the world congregates. Can you imagine the power you have in this diversity and talents? Well, I can't. It's just unimaginable. And this is what a collaboration starting from TIAC in Japan can bring to the world, an unimaginable positive change. Our presenters from TIAC today, who come from different countries, India, Vietnam, Thailand, Korea, Germany, and Japan, are live examples of such amazing collaborations. Within a short time span, they managed to put together a great session for us that will be the change-making stories in 6 minutes. So what I'm hoping that we take back from this forum is we get an answer of our questions regarding what is social entrepreneurship. We clarify those doubts. We come to know if it's rewarding career option or not. I also hope this forum would be able to spread awareness about the needs and the challenges, and definitely the opportunities the aspiring social entrepreneurs have. Definitely, there's a lot of inspirations here. There'll be a lot of inspirational stories here, so I hope you guys get inspired. And some clues from how other societies are solving their local problems. Last not but the least, maybe new friends and future new partnerships. Thanks a lot. And to begin the day, let me introduce our first speaker, my sustainability guru, Theo Ekberg, who is a journalist by profession and has been devoting a lot of his time advocating sustainable living, and also is working with his wife on One Planet Cafe, which is a sort of social enterprise that is helping local people in Zambia to learn basic computer skills to earn a better living. He set an example for us by reducing carbon dioxide emissions at his home by 60% and waste by 94%. I would like to know how he's done that. He's a veteran in Japan. I think he's been living here for about 20 years. He's authored books and articles in Japanese media on sustainability and environment. And I guess you guys would have seen him on Japanese media, Japanese television. And he's known for his funny talks. So I'm hoping today's session is also a bit funny. As this session implies, this is an interactive session. So after he finishes his talk, you guys have the opportunity to ask questions to him. We'll take about 10 minutes for that. So without any further delays, I would like to invite Peo on the stage.
I have to find my my speech here. It should be here somewhere. Here it is. Yes, if we pray together, it will come up. Just press this one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Look at this. まずですね、私は小さな友達持ってきたんです。いつもこのようなスピーチをするときに、北極熊。
I brought a small friend with me, so whenever I make a presentation like this, I will bring a small polar bear as a symbol, and so that I can tell the audience why I'm doing this. I'm trying to remind myself of why I'm doing this. So for this reason, I'm always bringing in this little polar bear with me. Thank you very much for your kind introduction, and hello everyone. So this speech will be conducted in Japanese. My name is Pio. I'm from Sweden. I'm Swedish. This is my beautiful wife. She's Japanese. 10 years ago, we had a traditional marriage ceremony. And we worked together in the field of environment. And we are trying to provide comprehensible explanation concerning how we keep and create sustainable society. So I'd like to thank for the kind introduction. I write some books, and I act as an advisor in One Planet Cafe Zambia, and I established a school for adults. The school teaches people how to resolve the issues concerning poverty. So worldwide, we see various problems, all kinds of problems. I'm sure people here are aware of these problems. And this is just only a part of these countless problems. And who are responsible, except for President Bush, who created these problems? Well, actually, that's us. And we are the ones who have to resolve these issues. We are the hope of this planet Earth. And we are the starting point. So when we look at the human society, So this is the current situation of the planet Earth. There are about 30 million species of animals, plants, and so forth on this planet. And of course, there are some rare species. So this is it. That's us. That's human being. Now just let us just take a look at just the human society. We can see that about less than 1/4 of the population lives in the so-called advanced nations such as Japan, the US, and the EU. But nevertheless, we who live in the advanced societies consume about 3/4 or the quarters of the resources in the world. Of course, you must be really good at calculation. But if all the countries on this planet were to become advanced nations like ourselves, those who are living in Japan, what would happen if they were to live like Japan, or if they were to live in the Japanese living standards? It is said that we need to have 2 more Earths in order to provide for that kind of living for the people of all across the nations. But let me turn our eyes to hope. In order to resolve these issues, in order to provide answer to the non-sustainable Earth, I suppose there are 2 ways to resolve these issues. Maybe we can ask NASA to find 3 more planets. Well, this does not seem to be very realistic. Or it could be 3 Earths or 4 Earths, but rather we should live within one planet and use the resources of this one planet in conducting our businesses. So that is called the one planet lifestyle. So this is sustainable world. That is to say that we have to convert our world into sustainable one. So we set a numerical target, and for instance, we are conducting our business, but as we do so, maybe we can use 1/4 of the resources as we do now, and maybe we might be able to provide the same quality of services. That is to say that we can have the efficient use of our resources. So the world community has set numerical targets. This is not I just created. Through the United Nations, various issues such as economy, health, and human issues, there have been 3 summits, or the 3 global summits were being held. All the entrepreneurs, politicians, children, housewives got together at this Earth Summit with an aim to resolve the issues of the world. And through the Earth Summit, Earth Vision was created. So this is the Earth Vision, that is to say, a sustainability. There are 3 major pillars, and the society that can strike the right balance among the 3 pillars: environment, human, and economy. The society with the right balance and the companies with the right balance of these 3 pillars. Sorry, I must apologize at this point. But there are some things that could not be helped. We are aiming to become a social entrepreneurs, and then we should have all of these 3 pillars in our business. This is a must. We cannot ignore these pillars. We cannot, if we do so, let's say if we ignore one pillar such as environment or health, and if we were to do so, we will have to pay for that. And this can be disastrous. So if we start taking the right attitude from the beginning, later it becomes only easier. So if I put it other way, this is going to be a great, enormous chance for all of us. If we can have the right mindset, striking the right balance from the beginning, things can only get easier. So the sustainability, that's the objective of the entire world. This is 1/3 of my presentation, and this is a basic principle that I would like to ask you to understand. I would like to show you some examples. The company which were not taking the right stance from the beginning. I will show you one example. You might be surprised to hear the name Toyota Motors. So this is one question. Toyota and environment and cars. If you were to try to put 3 words into one sentence, what kind of car can you envision? Maybe the hybrid car. That's the image you would come up with. Next question. So, what percentage of the car being sold by Toyota Motors is a hybrid cars? So, the percentage of hybrid cars among the entire number of cars being sold by Toyota within 1 year. What do you think? What would you say? What percentage do you think? Just 3%, that's all. 3% is environmental cars, and 97% of Toyota's cars are the cars that are destructive to the environment. So Toyota is trying to be eco-friendly car, and Toyota has been making very sensitive efforts so that they will not be exposed to criticism. But they were the company that started with manufacturing cars using fossil fuels and destroying environment. And they are now trying to make a switch. And that is why it is so difficult for Toyota. If they manage to create environmental friendly car from the outset at the foundation, things could have been much easier for Toyota. So this is a very good example from the US, the company which had it right from the beginning. Let me introduce the name of this company. This is a company that creates fashionable sports cars. The name of the company is Tesla Motors. This is a relatively new company, but ever since the foundation of this company, Tesla has been creating eco-friendly car, and it was fashionable at the same time. And people like fashionable cars, and people would like to drive such cars. So 100% of the cars produced by Tesla are electricity cars. So that means that if we were to use this car, and if we can charge this car using wind power generation, it is as if we are riding our bicycle when it comes to the environment and the impact on the environment and the health. Tesla Motors, there are so much demand that their production cannot catch up with the demand. They have produced 700 units of these fashionable sports cars, and all of them are sold out. And they are trying to manufacture as many cars, but they have not been able to catch up with the growing demand. So one charge of the battery can make it possible to run 500 kilometers from Tokyo to Osaka. Can you imagine? And when it comes to the speed, the car can drive within the range of 0 kilometer to 100 kilometer per hour. And it takes only 4 seconds in order to reach the top speed. So even the car is eco-friendly, the car has a great capability. So this is a company that is doing quite well. Sustainability, let me repeat this word. Human, health, and economy, these are the 3 major pillars. And these pillars is going to be the important compass for us. We cannot ignore that. And there are such things like wind power and climate change, like the polar bear that I've introduced earlier. I think we can come up with some interesting rules. Environment, human, health, and economy. These pillars can be our guidelines, but in order to achieve that, there are various rules made in the world within this environment. Like I said, there are 30 million species on this planet. Have you ever given a thought to this question? There's only one species that dispose waste. That species. And CO2 emission that contribute to the global warming. There's only one species that should be held responsible. What a coincidence. Why is that? So back in 1980s, European researchers began to have this kind of thinking. Ants, elephants, flowers, they don't create environmental problems. Why is that? There must be some kind of rules that they're abiding by. And the researchers started conducting research, and the person who found the rule. In the nature, long before we were born, the nature had a special rule dating back 1 billion years ago. And if we were to abide by these rules, the environmental problems can end, and I will be out of my job because I'm an environmental consultant. The rule, there are many of them. If you were to keep the rules, the more you abide by these rules, you can take measures that are more environmentally correct. That is like a magic. It will be a very important compass for us. Given the time constraints, I would like to only talk about the rules concerning global warming. In 1 minute, I can tell you the summary concerning this global warming and how to resolve this issue. Look at this left-hand side of the slide. This is the image of the globe. The name of the rule is underground and above the ground. So this is the basic keywords. The Earth consisting of two major parts. One is underground, fossil fuels, and above the ground, human, trees, flowers, plants. We as humans should, if we were to use the resources from below the ground, it can produce CO2 emission. But if we were to use the resources from above the ground, it will not be a problem because we can actually consume the CO2 emission. The real problem lies underground. There are the underground resources such as the gas and oil, which has been accumulated from 1.2 million years ago. Fossil fuels such as gas, oil, and coals. People were to take these three resources and make plastics, fuels, and electricity. People take underground resources to upper ground. They produce CO2 emission just as the resource from above the ground, but the CO2 never existed on the surface of the earth. If we were to take the resources from under the ground and use it, the CO2 emission will be too much. So the basic rule is never result too much to the resources from underground. So the CO2 coming up from the mouth, is it above the ground or underground? So you can laugh at it, but the CO2 coming up from the mouth would not impact our environment. How about PET bottles? They come from the underground resources. It took 1.2 million years to accumulate the resources, but the PET bottles will be consumed in just a matter of minutes. It is unthinkable in the world of economy. For instance, if you were to live a lifespan of 80 years old, you work all through your life and save the money. But on the 80th birthday, you spend all your assets within a matter of 30 seconds. People would just call you crazy. And of course, you will have to fight with your wife or your husband. But that's what we're doing on a daily basis. How about wind power? Does that come from underground or from above the ground? It's very simple. The wind power comes from above the ground. So we should convert the resources dependence from underground to above the ground. That's quite simple. There are some interesting examples concerning this sustainability and above the ground and under the ground. This is going to be a very big hint for us, we as social entrepreneurs. I would like to cite some of the examples that would help us. This is Sweden. This is my homeland. In Sweden, in the international ranking to stop or prevent global warming, we stood at the first on the list because we can make the measurement of the eco-friendly items. This is the Stockholm. This is the capital of Sweden. Now let us take a look at the CO2 emission in Japan and the US. I'm sure you know the fact that the CO2 emissions are increasing in countries such as Japan and the US and Japan. And they made a Kyoto Protocol and they have made a commitment to the world. And they are not abiding by the commitment. In Sweden, this is a country that abides by the commitment of the Kyoto Protocol. CO2 emission has declined by as much as 9% from the level of year 1999. And this is a figure until year 2006. So these are the years as set by the Kyoto Protocol as standards. And CO2 emission was down by 9%, and at the GDP increased by 40% during the same period of time. So this was something unthinkable in the rest of the world. Sweden, as a national policy, upholds sustainability. They hope to achieve sustainability by year 2021. And the laws are made to be in line with this objective. School compulsory education. In this compulsory education, to the in-house training for the employees in the company, they all learn above the ground rules, ground rules. And based on this, I would like to introduce one interesting idea as a social entrepreneur. There are some of them. This is Sweden.
This company is called Egen Energy, which is My Energy Company Limited. And the solar panels and the windmills, they rent these to small businesses. Now, solar panels and the wind power generators, they have been very expensive if you want to buy them. But as human beings, in order for us to survive, have to enhance sustainability. So they came up with this business idea. Not rent a car, but rent a windmill, rent a solar panel. I think this is interesting, isn't it? Is solar above or below ground? Above. The sun is also above the ground, even in Sweden. And there's a more interesting thing. This is a mind-blowing paradigm shift, which I would like to introduce to you. So I hope you can get your mind and heart ready. And is a banana above or below ground? Above. And what about coffee? The coffee. What about, then maybe we can run a car with a coffee and banana. Now, when you eat a banana or when you drink a cup of coffee, what do you feel? You feel awake. And if you put them into an engine or vehicle or bus, maybe they get energized. So such a car or the train or a bus is now a regular vehicle in Sweden. Banana-driven cars or the coffee-driven buses. And they are like fossil fuels. Let's say a banana it's a waste, the organic waste. It's a biological waste. In your own kitchen, have you left organic waste at home? without throwing it away? No. Well, actually, I do occasionally. Just one person? No. You don't leave organic waste in your kitchen. What do you feel? What do you smell? Good smell? It's smelly. It's bad smell. And the gas, just think about this gas. And the gas generated should be caught and put it into a tank, and that runs a vehicle. This is called biogas, technically. Biogas is gas that is generated above the ground. And natural gas, what about it? Above or below ground? Below ground. It's not natural. Although it's called natural gas, it's not natural. It's a fossil fuel gas. It contributes to global warming. And of course, usually a car produces a CO2. But as it runs, since it uses something that comes from above the ground to run, so it's calculated zero in terms of a CO2 generation. And I think this is also very interesting. Please remember this. If you have 1,000 banana peels, then a car can run 100 kilometers. Who needs oil? Who really needs oil? Why? Do we go to the Middle East that is 7,000 kilometers away and get oil from big holes? And bring it here, and you repeat it. Now, near this building, there are convenience stores like 7-Eleven, and you can get the same kind of energy there. It's really a waste of waste. And this is a real car. This is a Volvo car. This is a famous Swedish car. And in Sweden, for school lunches and the meals in restaurants and cafes, the organic is collected and biogas is generated. And biogas is sold at the regular gas stations, and with that, vehicles run. This is eco magic. Now, let's go to the last place from Sweden. Let's go to Zambia directly in Africa. In Africa, in the southern part of Africa, we have Zambia, and me and my wife started a school for adults, which is called One Planet Cafe. I think you'll see it. One Planet. Have you heard it before? Where was it? At the beginning. Right, at the beginning. One Planet Cafe. And cafe is fun. So many problems can be solved with a lot of fun. And so for sustainability, let's drink information. That's what it means. In Zambia, again, sorry, this is what you see in Zambia. This is a school that we run for adults. In villages, there are cute, the thatched roofs and the clay houses, many of them, as we imagine. And you have lively people, lots of energetic children. And there's a great flora and fauna. As you see, there's a national park nearby, and you see these animals. And so as you live in a village, you see wild the giraffes and elephants. This is really a genuine Jurassic Park, if you will. And here, when we started this effort, we saw lots of problems. For example, problems of poverty, and with respect to environmental issues, we saw flood and also the poaching. There were poachers that are increasing. Poachers, they kill wildlife and illegally sell them to people in the developed countries. And what we found is there's no jobs there. Because of lack of jobs, they tend to eliminate the shortage of food. And of course, in order for the family members to survive, they tend to kill elephants, say, to get money. and the black rhinos have already disappeared. And in order to solve this issue, we thought of the environmental pillar. Now, here in Japan, what is waste? But waste in Japan can be a resource in Africa. So we bought two used computers in Akihabara. They can be thrown away in Japan, but actually we took them to the local area, and along with the local people, we began this One Plant Cafe along with local women. And this is one PC from Akihabara, and Billy-san in Africa, a joint representative, and my wife, Satoko, are starting how to teach a PC from on-off button to Excel. And as a result, we actually rented a place to start this One Plant Cafe. And there, there's a 3-week computer course that we provide. And the issue of poverty and the window to the rest of the world, internet, and we are trying to give them opportunities to resolve their issues of the poverty and the environment. Of course, it's up to Liv to how to think about how to solve it. And this is Mari-san. She has a baby on her back and receiving a computer course. Amanda-san. Amanda-san, we employed him, and he is a computer teacher. He lives in a village. Now, after receiving this computer course, we give them this certificate. This is for sustainability. It says you have learned some things about sustainability, and each and every woman or man, how far have they gone with respect to the computer learning? They can use a word, they can make an access to the internet or something like that. And so this certificate says what they have learned. And this certificate creates miracles, actually. And to date, about 50 people have graduated from this course in the village where there is no electricity. And so there are 50 graduates, and among them, there are quite a few people who have used this certificate and have tried to get jobs. They have been looking for employment, and among them, well, actually 100% of them have found a job. And their salary is now 3 times as large as they used to have, and there are less poachers, and that has resolved the poverty issue and environmental issues. And lastly, today I only have 5 more minutes left, and what I would like to introduce to you is recently there is a project which we want to start, and if you want to participate in it, please raise your hand later on. Now, one of the visions of One Plant Cafe is unplugged villages. If you look at it from the satellite, it's pitch dark. This is a picture taken from a satellite at night. You see lots of light in Japan, and there is lots of light in Europe, but Africa is dark. And when you go to a village, let's take a look at the picture at the top left. That is daytime, and at night it's pitch dark. And so quite a few problems occur. At night, well, this is unthinkable in our world, but in the evening, if you would like to go to a restroom, of course, restrooms is outside, and actually snakes and the scorpions actually walk around, and you can't see them, and so you may be bitten by them. Women, men, children, when they go to a toilet, they get bitten by them. And also they use of course, the lamps, and they are very dangerous. Candles are very dangerous, and because they use thatched roof, the thatched roofs get burnt, the houses get burnt down. And also, without electricity, it's very difficult to study. Let's take a look. And this is a house where one of my friends live at night. This was the light. This is used for cooking. And on the right-hand side, you see what it is. and we took a picture and we used a flash. And that's the picture that you see on the right-hand side. And what we found later on was this girl was studying very hard. It's very difficult to study, but using this very small amount of light, she was studying there. And so me and my friend, acquaintance, in 2002, he lost his house in fire because of a candle. And so I actually met a small social entrepreneur in Japan, and this person developed a solar lamp. This is a very small solar lamp, but with a 3-hour recharging, you can get lights for 3 days. Now, when you think about Zambia, you have the sun for 10 months a year. That's a big resource there in Zambia. And so solar lamp, we took it to Zambia, and people are very pleased because for the first time in life, they were able to go out of their house to the restroom with a peace of mind. The children can study at home. They don't have to worry about any fire. And so to propagate this, we need help. And so if you're interested, please come to me later on. So, well, that is about it. To summarize, please just remember this. Sustainability means these 3 pillars: the environment, health, and the economy. And as social entrepreneurs, what we need is there are correct rules for the environment from below to above the ground. And this is the last picture. And imagination. Imagination is very important. Last quiz. Now, when you recharge your mobile phone, I think you use the oil that comes from the below the ground, and I think you use energy that originally comes from below the ground. What about hamster? Is that above or below ground? Sorry. This is above the ground, right? And this is a fun picture. This is a British high school student who invented this mobile phone that is recharged above the ground. This is a hamster recharged cell phone. A high school student can invent this kind of a thing. So we adults can use our imagination and can make a miracle happen. Thank you.
I think I will start with the Q&A session now. So if anyone has questions for Pio, please raise your hands now.
English is okay, Japanese is okay, and Swedish.
And
of course.
Swedish.
Yeah, of course. Any question?
Oh, thank you. I'm curious about some of the steps you did to reduce waste by 94%. It seems incredible.
Me?
Yes, personally, I mean.
Okay. I learned the rules of nature, like below ground and above ground. And I did like in Sweden, where it's forbidden to throw away food waste now, according to the law. And I introduced a compost, which is actually, a compost is a box with worms and soil. It's actually imitation of the nature since 1 billion years ago. Everything returns to soil, right? Then when I go shopping, when me and my wife go shopping, instead of choosing yogurt in plastic containers, which is not really, it takes hundreds of years to return to soil, we chose instead paper containers. That's one simple thing. After eating the yogurt, we put these paper containers to the worms, and it disappears. It goes in back to soil, and we use the soil raising greenery, use that as an interior in our office. And when the plants are dying, we return them to soil again. It's a knowledge of the nature since 1 billion years ago. Very simple. Just by that thing, to introduce a compost in your house, you reduce your garbage by 50%. 50%, just that one. So that's one thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No problem. And I want to add one thing that people say, wow, I could never do that. That's fantastic. But remember, 9 million Swedish people are already reducing their garbage the same, as much as a soccer ball per month. It's nothing unusual. Yes. Next question, please.
I guess Todd had some questions. You were raising your hand. No, okay. Any other questions? Because I have. Okay.
Please, please.
You talked about energy above and below ground. That was very easy to understand. Now already, there are countries who want to oil, but we have to reduce the energy coming from below ground. That's our challenge, just like Sweden. But the energy above the ground, can we sustain ourselves? I don't think so. So there is actually people are vying for the energy above the ground. For example, Africa, there are lots of hydropower stations, and using Sahara Desert, maybe power can be transmitted to the Europe. So I think the people are going after lots of energy. What do you think about that? So you are saying, well, to repeat, if you use too much energy above the ground, that's too much a burden on us? Well, that's a very good question. Now, there's actually another rule. We shouldn't get more than we can return it to the nature. You have one tree. If you get one tree, you return one tree. Or if you get one tree and make a paper or furniture, the tree that comes from the forest, that you have to give time so that the trees can recover, like 10 years. So for 10 years, you should continue to use the product. Say, for example, I use a bamboo pen. That's for 1 year. If after a year, it can recover. And so what's being discussed is corn. We have the fuel from corn that drives cars in some places. But we shouldn't get more than we can return to nature. That's another rule that we should also remember, along with above and below ground. Say, if you will develop a field for the fuel for cars, then in another place, maybe you should have another field for vegetables or food. That's again according to the rule of not getting more than you can return to nature. So actually there are more. But if you remember these two, that would be great.
I think we have time for another question.
Please.
Ladies first. Yeah. The lady over there.
カミラと申しますが、ザンビア
My name is Camila. What was the reason for selecting Zambia?
for going to Zambia.
それもありがたい質問ですね。ファンディングは
So that is a very good question as well. The funding came from my pocket, just the pocket money, and that's it. What we were trying to achieve was that a sustainable business, as help or aid. I do not think charity can run for a long period of time. I think the attempt to the salvation has made our African situation even worse. And I don't believe in salvation. So the One Planet Cafe has a computer course. And we are going to start the course concerning the ways to have organic cotton cultivation. And from there, we want to generate the money. And with some money, they will no longer be in need for salvation. That is a sustainable business that we are trying to realize. This was my money. I went there, and I went there to create better community. But there's one thing I would like to encourage you to think over. I am a social entrepreneur, but I'm a beginner. It just began unconsciously. Arvin told me that you are a social entrepreneur yourself, and I said, "Oh, really? I wasn't aware of that." But the thing that worries me is that I've been spending the money from my pocket and my wife's money. I've been making the investment, but somehow, some way, I want to create a truly sustainable system. In Africa, I want to create a sustainable project. I need the funding. As a startup, in order to start the first step, I want to make a mechanism that would enable us to raise funding at the first step. Bill Gates Foundation, the United Nations, Bill Clinton, and we've been sending letters and complaints to all these organizations, well over 100 organizations. And someone should have the resources or the money to support us or the other social entrepreneurs at the very beginning. There are such issues as nuclear waste coming from nuclear power plants. There should be one solution. Technology, engineering, and know-how, it already exists. In Africa, there are many people who have the willingness. We don't need oils. We want to have sustainable development using such energy as solar powers, so people have the motivation and we have the know-how. What is lacking is money. That's the only thing that is missing from the picture. If there are any ways to resolve this issue, I would appreciate your input. Sorry, this was a lengthy answer. いくつかの質問について
Interesting panel there.
Absolutely.
So we look forward to that.
Yes.
So I would like to thank you for your speech and showing us interesting examples how we can learn from nature. And I hope some of us probably can help you in your projects also. So thanks for today.
Thank you very much. ありがとうございます。
And to move on to our next session, that is change-making stories in 6 minutes. We'll continue with the question sessions where our next speaker, Dr. Suresh, who is also an aspiring social entrepreneur, probably will ask questions to our panel. So he'll put his speech in terms of questions, and I hope our panelists will be able to answer those questions. He's a doctor by profession. He did his master's from Oxford, and immediately after Oxford, he went to India and started his own clinic to work with poor community. Here he is in Tokyo. He's studying at Tokyo Medical University, doing his PhD now, and as I said, he's an also aspiring social entrepreneur. Dr. Suresh.
Hey, hello. Thank you, Arvin. Where's my slides? Great. Well, thank you for the introduction. I am Suresh, and I'll start straight away with just a question. I was thinking of asking a question to Mr. Pio, and I was like pulled backstage to wire myself up. Let me start with my question. When do the developed world and the Europeans particular stop dumping everything in Africa and call it as a sustainable way to live? I got more questions, but I guess there is fishbowl session, so be prepared. And my presentation is also all about questions, which means you don't ask me questions, it's only I who do it. And the second thing is I probably tell what I feel about social entrepreneurship, which is again my own personal feelings. So please do not question my personal feelings as well. It's very bad. Let me kind of straight away tell you why I'm here. I'm living in TIEC, and it's great to live in TIEC because you start asking something, and then like they put you on the stage. It's just convenient that there is an auditorium nearby as well. So I was like thinking of starting a social entrepreneurship or enterprise, and I was like asked, okay, come onto the stage and ask all your questions. So that's why I'm here. And because I was thinking of starting a social enterprise, I kind of researched a little bit and made two great discoveries. I'll tell about them later. My presentation is about two things, my discoveries, and what are the questions that you should probably ask if you want to start a social enterprise. So I'll go back to my discoveries. Be very attentive. I started looking for this about social enterprises and found out two things, as I said. Entrepreneurship or enterprise is nothing but another word for business. I hope I'm simple. And my next biggest discovery is there is a word social before business. So that would be my definition for social entrepreneurship. A little bit simpler. People before business or people before profits. And that is how I define social enterprise. It is a business, which is something that we'll all have to think about it. And it puts people before business, people before profits. So if I want to start a social enterprise, I shouldn't be starting a charity or an NGO or a foundation or probably, I don't know, maybe there are a lot of things where you just keep on giving things and not take anything back. That is a charity, a dependent relationship, and that is not social enterprise. On the other hand, it is not even a corporate social responsibility thing where I make a lot of profits on one side, and to clear off my conscience, I just dump something, much like Europeans dump it in Africa. Sorry. Even though they buy it from Akihabara, it doesn't make a difference. Maybe it just adds a Japanese guilt to it, but it's okay, it's your private thing. So it is not a corporate social responsibility thing, nor a charity, so it is a business. Which means, why did we name this as a social enterprise forum instead of calling it as a business development forum? Which is where there is a slight difference between what is a social enterprise and a business. A business puts profit before people, whereas a social enterprise puts people before profit. A little bit similarity, but then the way things are run is not exactly the way things always appear. So I'll have to go to my question. Am I a social entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, whatever? So if you would want to start a social enterprise, I guess you should start asking these questions, and at least according to my discoveries, you should ask many questions. Am I going to be a businessman or a businesswoman? And if your answer is no, I'm not going to start my own business, obviously you're not going to be a social entrepreneur. So if your answer to this question is yes, and if you are going to be a businessman, then the next question automatically comes. Am I going to put people before my business, or am I going to put myself or my business before people and make all the profits? If you still think you're going to put people before profits, yes, you're going to be a social entrepreneur. Which means you should ask the next question. How do you start a social enterprise? The good thing about starting a social enterprise is it is, as I said, a normal business. A normal business means you can go and talk to your bank or to your friends and say that I'm going to start a business, give me your money, I'm going to repay it to you. So there's nothing great about starting a social enterprise. It is a normal business. All the channels of getting money in, maybe investment bankers might be interested, maybe private equity guys would be interested, as long as you give their money back. Otherwise, they will send their lawyers. That's a different story. So normal ways of starting a business applies to social enterprises. It's just a normal business. What business do I want to start? I guess that's $1 million question. If I had known that, I'll be running it. I'm still searching for one. And who are the people that I'm going to help? It could be anybody. My people in my village, except myself. My town, my city, my country, sometimes even the whole world. It's okay as long as you're fair to everybody. And that is the key thing about social enterprise. I'm fair to everybody. I pay to everybody. I'm not like taking anybody for a ride. And finally, my last question. Now that I've asked all these questions, to see or not to see, and C is social enterprise. And I know at least some of you might be having these questions. And to answer this question, again, I'm not going to answer. I'm the guy only to ask the questions. You'll have to listen to my colleagues who will be coming and presenting after this. They will be telling you lots of stories from their own countries, their own experience. And of course, you have the panelists who will come and just wait for your questions. So be prepared with your questions. And that is not me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Suresh, for asking the questions that probably each aspiring social entrepreneur has. And I hope that later on our panelists will be able to answer those questions for you. Okay, our next student speaker comes from Vietnam. He is an MBA candidate at Waseda Business School and has a strong interest in working to support social entrepreneurs projects for a better society. He's going to share with us a change-making story from his own hometown, a story about the street children. Please welcome Viet.
Thank you, Oni, for your nice introduction. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming today. It is my great pleasure to make the presentation about my country's social successful enterprise. And I would like to share with you how the enterprise helped to bring the happiness and change the life of children in my country. Hanoi is a dynamic and traditional city, and many children are living happily with their parents. And they come to the school every day and have the meal cooked by their mother. But in opposite with this happy picture, this is the life of the children. They are lonely, no education, vulnerable, poor and homeless. They need the help of society. There are 6,000 of them in Hanoi. This is a significant number because it accounts for 1/4 of total countries. And what are they doing now? How can they survive in the big cities? They're doing a lot of jobs every day to earn a tiny amount of money to survive and to send back some of them, some of the amount of money to their family at home. Suicining, street vending, scavenging, and packaging. All of the job is unhealthy and dangerous job and no pride for their future. So they need the help of the society, and this is the embassy call for the society. And to address this problem, and many programs and projects have been implemented, but the result is very limited and could not bring the sustainable impact for their life. So in this picture, one social entrepreneur engaged in, he is Mr. Jimmy Pham. He is a Vietnamese Australian citizen. He used to work in the tourist industry, and he traveled a lot, and he knows deeply about the social and society and culture. He's not so rich, but he had a strong social commitment, and he's very motivated to help children. And now I want to share with you how he set up his business model. In 2000, he set up the KOTO organization, which stands for No One Teach One. This reflects the philosophy of education. If you know something good for the life, you should transfer it and teach this kind of knowledge for other people. In Hanoi, he set up 2 entities. The first entity is the KOTO restaurant. The restaurant will in charge of doing business and creating the profits. And the second entity is a vocational school, which is in charge of doing social contribution and help the children. And now I say with you how the school will operate. The school will recruit the children from the streets, and the streets can have can receive the training course in the school without paying any tuition fee. And in the school, the streets can attend the cooking class and language communication class. That is very helpful for them to have the necessary skill to find a job in the future. And the school also provide them the home and to live and the place to live like a family. And the children can also receive some amount of money every month to allow them to send some amount of them to back for their poor family living in the countryside. The school also try to provide them the social activity that provides them the necessary life skill. After more than 1 year of training in the school, the kids can find a job very easily. And 100% of them can find a job in the hospitality industry. And some of them, if they have the intention to work for Koto restaurant, they can come to Koto restaurant to work for Koto restaurant. And now I want to share with you how the Koto restaurant creates the business and sustains the business. In order to create the profit and revenue, the Koto restaurant have to create the strong relationship and cooperation with the outside partner. The outside partner working in the hospitality industry, such as the hotel, restaurant, travel agency, and many other sponsors. The outside partners invite the tourists and guests to have the food in the Koto restaurant and contribute for the revenue. And they also hire the Koto graduates, and some of them donate the money and equipment for the restaurant and the vocational school. And some of them also help to standardize the training curriculum to ensure that the food in Koto restaurant is very high quality and the competency of the children is very high enough to work in the hospitality industry. So all of the cooperation transactions create the sustainable income for the Koto restaurant. And this is a win-win mechanism between the Koto restaurant and other outside partners. So in 2006, there are 350 children have been trained and found a job after graduating from Koto. So by doing that, the Koto received a lot of recognition and awards from the societies. And with Koto, this is not the biggest word. The biggest word is the smile of children and how the children can change the life after living with Koto. So this, I will summarize that this is the key success factor of Koto business model. So this is the passion and commitment of the owner. This is the importance of networking, and it is very important about the marketing strategies and about the manager's experience and the quality and standardization of the foods and the labors. So it maintains the success of the Koto for the long time. So this is my last word and conclusion. Making money is very important for any social enterprise because it helps to sustain the business model designed to help the society. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Viet, for your presentation. The next change-making story comes all the way from Thailand. It will be presented by Pai Boon, who is one of the 7 selected students to join Stanford Thai International Exchange Program in 2006. Now he's pursuing his master's at the University of Tokyo. He's going to share with us a story about an entrepreneur from Thailand who is and can become a source of inspiration for any of us. Presenting Zero to Amata, please welcome Pai Boon.
Thank you, Oni, for the introductions. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In the next 5 minutes, I'll be walking with you the stories of Mr. Vikram, one of Thailand's most famous entrepreneurs, as you can see from these pictures. So let me ask you the first questions. How many of you believe that you can be a millionaire? None, right? Mostly people believe that it's impossible to be a millionaire. So what do? Most of us, we follow the common career path like others, as a salaryman. But this is not the case for Vikram. So Vikram, he is the eldest son of the 22 siblings. Yes, you hear me right, 22 siblings. And his entrepreneurial spirit was inspired at the age of 8. Imagine, at the age of 8, he took over the peanut business from his aunt. And from that, it was the passion to be an entrepreneur, and it drives him to do various entrepreneurial activities. After he graduated from the National Taiwan Universities, he came back to Thailand and then started his own trading company about the agricultural foods and products with the only $500 budget. And as a newbie in the market, nobody gave him a chance to be a business partner because he doesn't have any credit. So he almost went bankrupt, but through perseverance, he focused on the Taiwanese market because he has a very good language proficiencies and also the cultural similarities between Thailand and Taiwan. And he finally made the first deal of 50 tons of tapioca. And that was the fuel that kept his dream alive. And as his business grew on more and more, expanding the human networking, which is very important to various business sectors, he found that Thailand has a very good potential in Southeast Asia, as we are located right in the center of the regions, and we have a very good source of labors and qualities of materials, and above all, the friendliness of Thai people is the reason that attract all the investors to Thailand. And with this concept, he was thinking that, I want to revolutionize the industrial estate industry. He wanted to make the industrial estates as a home, not just a workplace. So what makes his business different from the others? It lies in his vision. He envisioned that Amata will be a complete and well-balanced community where the business, people, and the nature can live together peacefully. With this conception in mind, he built Amata, and then today, Amata is one of the largest industrial estates in Thailand, and also expand to Vietnam. And let's take a look at some figures here. Right now, Amata is home to over 600 multinational and local firms, and it creates over 200,000 jobs creations and deliver almost 7% of Thailand's GDP. And in addition to his industrial estate development, he also contributes to the society through his Amata Foundations. He donates over $110 million of his own share to the foundation. And the foundation gets the dividend from those shares each year and use those monies to support the Thai arts and literary talent people. So before we left here, I want to give you the message from Mr. Vikram here. So what kind of person would drive forward our society? Any ideas? Smart person? Maybe most of you might think that that person must be smart, right? He must be able to think of something innovative for the society. But no. What we need is the one with the morality, the one who has the right thought, the right speech, and of course, doing the right thing for the society. And it now starts with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Paibun, for your presentation. Our next student speaker comes from Germany. She is a research student at the University of Tokyo Department of Architecture. She is currently the 26th Cherry Blossom Princess of Hamburg and a member of the German-Japanese Association in Hamburg. She's here to present an enterprise from her country, a presentation called Dialogue in the Dark. Please welcome Annika Schulze.
Thank you, Oni, for the kind introduction. And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming here today. Actually, before I want to start introducing the next enterprise to you, I want to talk about a more general topic, which is the matter of the term otherness. So at first, what does this term mean at all? To me, it is a word that implies just very flatly that someone is not like you, someone is different in any way. To give an example what I mean or what this term could mean, this event today is a very international event, I think, because our audience comes from Japan, but many of you come from other countries, from all over the world, just like me. And so we are different already. We have many different cultural backgrounds, many sometimes other points of views. But we all have at least one thing in common, and that is the fact that we are all here right now. and the fact that we are interested in learning from social enterprises from countries from all over the world. Yeah. And of course, we also know that difference and otherness in culture and society may cause problems sometimes and difficulties because there can be many misunderstandings, there may be some prejudices. And this is why communication is a very essential thing in order to see difference as an enrichment and not as an impediment between two sides or several sides. And at this point, yeah, and that's also what I think this forum is about today. We mainly want to learn from each other. And at this point, I'd like to quote one of my favorite authors, which is the psychoanalyst Erich Fromm, who once said, I quote, "One does not talk seriously to each other if the dialogue causes no change inside each person." And this should be my personal message for you today. And that's the reason why I chose to introduce the Dialogue Social Enterprise to you today. The Dialogue Social Enterprise is a company that mainly operates with a tool of exhibitions in order to integrate marginalized people in society. And the exhibition I'm talking about now is the Dialogue in the Dark. So, the Dialogue in the Dark exhibition was established in 1986 in Frankfurt am Main in Germany, which is my home country. And it started with a sad incident that the colleague of the German journalist Andreas Heinecke lost his eyesight due to a car accident. And this was, of course, a very sad turning point in the life of Mr. Heinecke, even though he was not the one who lost the eyesight, but he was the one who started to think about what it means to be blind in our society and how blind people must deal with everyday life. And that's why he entered the Foundation for the Blind in Frankfurt and worked there. And there he tried to bring together sighted people with blind people so that they would communicate with each other and, yeah, and develop understanding for each other. And yeah, through this work, he developed finally the Dialogue in the Dark exhibition, which was opened 2 years later. But now, you must wonder what this exhibition is about, so I'm explaining this to you now. So in this exhibition, professional blind people guide sighted people through a completely dark environment. So the sighted people cannot see anything at all. This environment consists of simulations of just everyday situations. It may be, for example, a park, a city, a supermarket, or whatever. Just our everyday surroundings. And through this concept, there's of course a change in the perspective, because the sighted people can imagine how it must feel like to be blind, and they even depend on their blind guides. So the blind guides are the ones who have got perfect orientation in this case. Yeah, and this concept was quite successful. As you see, it spread internationally. And Andreas Heinecke also won so far 8 awards for his work. And one of these awards is the fact that he was named the first Ashoka Fellow in Western Europe. Yeah, as you can see, so far this exhibition has been taken place in 30 countries, 160 sites and 110 cities so far. And at the moment it is also located in Tokyo, so if you like to go there, you can do that. Yeah, and this exhibition has also created 6,000 jobs for blind people, which means that these people did not only learn a profession and started to earn their own money, but above all, they gained self-confidence, and they turned from passive persons who depend on help of others to active change makers themselves. And I think this is one of the most important impacts on society in this case. And when it comes to the sighted people, many of them changed their mind when it comes to otherness and difference. in society, and 90% of the visitors said that after visiting this exhibition, they felt sensitized for the life of blind people. And they also understood that blind people are not poorer or do not live a bad life, but they are just different, and there may be even enriching aspects in this. So as a result, we can say that the Dialogue in the Dark exhibition creates tolerance, understanding, openness, and integration when it comes to blind people, but also in general when it comes to otherness in society. And it also shows how important it is to communicate with each other and to show interest in other people's perspective. So to me, interest is the key to many things in life. And if you got interested now in this exhibition, you can visit either the website of the exhibition, which is the link above, or the website of the company. And I'm also sure that we will have interested conversation in the coffee break later. And yeah, thank you for your attention. Domo arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you, Annika, for your presentation. The next speaker is actually a friend of mine, Yuki. He was born in Kyoto. He graduated from Kyoto University, and he was an exchange student in the Netherlands for 1 year. 彼のプレゼンは日本で有名な社会起業家に
He's going to talk about a famous social entrepreneur in Japan. That's all what I say in Japan.
Thanks for nice introduction, Noni. My name is Yuki, and as you can see, I'm Japanese, and I'll talk about Japanese company. So let me make my presentation in Japanese, although my slides are English. 政策研究
Well, no one knows this university, but I study at the Graduate Research Institute for Policy Studies, and I would like to talk about a social entrepreneur called Mother House. Why Mother House? Of course, this is a Japanese company, and also this is a bag company. I use a wallet of a Mother House, and as a fan, I would like to introduce to you this company called Mother House. What does it do as a company? In Bangladesh, they produce bags and sell them in Japan. That's the business that the company is engaged in. There are quite a few companies that have plants in Bangladesh. And what's the difference between those companies and Mother House? In the case of Mother House, they create brands from developing countries. Not for the first time, but originating in developing countries. As you can see, they are very fashionable bags. And what is the company like? Ms. Eriko Yamaguchi founded this company in 2006, and now they have 5 stores in Japan, and details can be found in the website. And I'm not really an insider of Mother House, and there can be also opportunities for online shopping, so please go to the site. Now, what about this company that makes this company called Mother House? Number one, a part of the profit is used for supporting the victims of cyclone. That's like a typhoon in Bangladesh. Other than that, part of the profit is to support children by sending the satchels to children who can't go to school. And secondly, they respect local people. Now, why did she start this business? Ms. Yamaguchi, when she went to Bangladesh, she saw people working in plants in Bangladesh, and they were working like slaves under the buyers of the West. And otherwise, shouldn't be like that. She thought that they should cooperate with the local people and go through trial and errors. And she would like to offer opportunities for employment with a peace of mind. And so this brand originates from a different country, so that she wanted to give opportunities for employment where people can work with pride. And the third point is this company is eco-friendly. Why Bangladesh? Now, Bangladesh is a country that is number 1 in terms of export of jute. And jute is very robust, but not very fashionable. Actually, this can be used for bags for coffee, but she wanted to use that for bags, and that's the starting point of this business. And why is jute environmentally friendly? in the process of photosynthesis, lots of CO2 is absorbed by it. And also, if you burn it, there's no harmful substances coming out of it, and it, of course, goes back to soil when after use. So that's why it's eco-friendly. For these reasons, Mother House has been a very successful social entrepreneur in Japan, and lots of media take up the company. So I think many of you know this company. Now, I would like to introduce to you Ms. Yamaguchi a little bit. She actually studied, she was interested in development of developing countries. And when she was in Keio University during summer vacation, she actually had an experience working in Inter-American Development Bank, IADB. And what she felt there is now the gap between assistance organization and the developing countries, because people who are working in the assistance organization didn't know about the developing countries. They've never been to, many of them never been to developing countries. They didn't know anything about what goes on in developing countries. So she felt a gap between the people who work in assistance organizations and developing countries, and that she decided to go to a developing country, and she decided to go to a graduate school in Bangladesh. And while she was there, she started this company, Mother House. Now, this is her autobiography. This is a moving book, so please read it. But there is no English version. I'm very sorry. She was interested in development. Why did she go into business? With respect to development, one possible alternative is to work in an international assistance organization. But as I said before, she thought that there was a major disparity between the ground and the assistance organizations, and the next possibility was to work for an NGO. But her ways to look at it is NGOs. Of course, some of them deal with the products that are man-made in the developing countries and fair trade goods, but these products depend upon the warm-hearted people's pity or and so on. So because of this, with respect to funding of NGO, her view is NGO is not sustainable, and so she didn't want to go to international assistance organization or NGO, and so that's why she came up with this idea of starting this business. She was still a graduate school student. She didn't have any money. She didn't have knowledge. She didn't have any connections, and she had to launch this business, and she faced lots of difficulties. But due to time constraints, I would like to skip some pages. And but her enthusiasm, her hard work, and her passion has now allowed her to grow to the tune of having 5 stores in Japan. Now, what's the impact the Mother House brought to the society? Now, the image of people about developing countries have been shifted to something that is one where actually cool things, cute things, quality things can be produced. And because of this, for example, the NGO's assistance, without depending upon the NGO support or the multilateral organization support, the developing countries can develop themselves. I think Mother House is a good example for that. And this is my last slide. Now, there are 3 points I would like to express. The first point. Now, at this point in presentation, I actually talked to a Bangladeshi student, and she pointed out that true, Mother House has been successful in creating a brand originating from a developing country. But where does the profit go? Not to Bangladeshi, but the profit comes to the business. Of course, it's a business, so you just have to accept it. There's nothing wrong about it. But how far? Well, this is related to what Thresh said at the beginning, but how do you hit the balance between making a profit and contributing to the society? And the second point, Mother House, of course, deal with their own products, but as mentioned in the autobiography, her charisma and her way of life really move people. and that may be the strength of the company. But in terms of creation of brands originating in the developing countries, how can you really replicate this to other cases? How far can you go in replicating this business model? And lastly, in the context of development of developing countries, from alternative business, maybe you can go further, and cooperation between NGO and developing country, and multilateral organization and developing country. I think that's also possible. Well, now I tend to be a bit nervous. I was perhaps fast in speaking, but thank you very much for listening.
Our next speaker.
Thank you.
Started his career as an educator of IT, sales and marketing, and then went into development and management of IT software projects and products. He has worked in India, England, and now he's working in Japan. He's also an accomplished actor and has performed on stage, but today he will be bringing us a change-making story from Bollywood, Mumbai. Please welcome Sitesh.
Thank you, Oni. It appears that I come from Bollywood, but it is not the case. Thank you, everyone, to be here. It's good to see all the like-minded souls at the same place. And this is the show which I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes now. Hunger. Hunger is the mother of all the enterprise that we do, be it social enterprise or any other enterprise. Now, because of this, we all are here. It's quite a good afternoon after having our hunger stomachs here. Now, there is a buzzword, supply chain. And in the supply chain is the cornerstone of the industrial revolution that we have today, which has started a couple of 100 years back. When today we think about any supply chain companies, we think about Walmart, we think about Pepsi, we think about Coca-Cola, IBM, Procter & Gamble, and so on. But this will be the biggest surprise for you in a couple of minutes. Mumbai Dabba Wala. Dabba is bento or tiffin for you, and therefore I have coined this word for the Japanese audience, that Mumbai Bento Boys. This is a service, this is a small enterprising thing which started around 120 years back and is still a flourishing example of supply chain. Have a look of it, and you feel that it's interesting to look at it, and then I can connect it with the supply chain. Now, this happens in one place called Mumbai, which is financial capital of India, city of dreams in India, and this city is also the home to the entrepreneurial stories in India. Now, this started around 120 years back for a small service which was available to the British officers in that time. Now, before I proceed further, I would like to show you a small video which will set the mood.
Another miraculous model of efficiency in Bombay are the Dabbawalas, members of the Bombay Tiffin Union Box Carriers Association. These 2,500 men move all around the city, collecting lunches made by housewives and delivering them to their husbands at their offices right on time each and every day. The small dabbas, aluminum or stainless steel containers, have several compartments stacked on top of one another and held together by a clip. The dabbawalas will collect 40 to 50 tins of food each morning, bring them to the local station, and hand them off to other dabbawalas for delivery to other parts of the city. Each tin is color-coded to indicate the correct household it comes from and the office destination it's going to. The service costs less than $3 per month, and it's said that less than 20 lunches each year are ever late, let alone lost.
So, I believe that it has generated some kind of interest, and you will have some questions to me, and I'm there to answer you about them. Now, this started as a very small service for the British officers, which then they found that this kind of service can be given by a very, very detailed training, but not with a very big qualification. So, all the people who are associated with this project, they are just 8th graders, just the 8th graders, that is the average. So, they are not beyond 8th graders. So, this is a Six Sigma supply chain, and these people, the 5,000 people who work for them, they are not educated. So, they do not know what is Six Sigma, it is we who know it, and the Forbes magazine actually took their sample of work and they told them and they told the world that their operation is Six Sigma, which actually means 1 error in a million. By delivering a bento from home to the office, there is 1 error in a million. Now, these are some of the key facts of it. Have a look of it. They do take 200,000 bento boxes every morning, and they deliver it hot food in the offices to the people, and they return the boxes back again. So, that is actually 400,000 transactions in a day in a matter of couple of hours. So, I hope it's amazing. And you see, it's quite an old organization, and this is the fact which I was talking about. Now, the technology which they use, you will be the most surprised to see that is actually no technology. We live in a technological world, but yet they have proven that their supply chain is the purest form of supply chain. Now, this is the cost of service, which when I compare to the Japan situation, if this service has to be provided in Tokyo, this will cost around 25,000 yen for a month to deliver your home food from your home to your office. And this is the cost which of course is available in India, because the area which they cover is the 70-80 kilometers around Mumbai city. The employee is also the partner of this enterprise, and that is why it makes it the actual social enterprise, because every employee is also the partner of this. And the earnings which they have it here, which is like a very good earning in terms of India's living standards, if we convert it into relatively Japan figures, that will come around 300,000 yen. And I believe that is a amount which of course is not can't be compared with this capitalist world, but it is a livable amount with which most people are living here. So, this is the technology. This is a technology which is nothing but a coding on each of the bento boxes, and this coding, they do it manually on each of the bentos, and you see these different colors means this is the area where the bento has to go. This is for the person who has to pick up the bento at the destination. This is the building name where the bento has to reach. This is the floor where the bento has to reach, and this is for the person who has to pick up the bento from the originating station, and this is the last one is for the code of the railway station where the bento has to reach, and all of this is coded on top of each bento like this. Now, it does not need any technology, it is just a color coding, and because of this color coding at the originating station, at the destination station, they understand which bento has to go to which person, which building, which street, and which office. And that is, by this technology, looking at this, it was amazing for any supply chain organization. And it has taken notice into the many management colleges across the world. And Prince Charles of Britain and Richard Branson of Virgin Atlantic, they have patronized and applauded this system, and sometimes they try to use it in this recessionary world. We are living in recession, so they try to use their logic and fundamentals for this. Now, there are some numbers here. These are the timings when every bento boy has to pick up the bento from the house, and he has to take the bento to the nearest station. And that station, there are people who will segregate it because of the colors. They know where it has to go, in which station it has to go. So this kind of segregation happens at the originating station. Then the other guys will pick up the bento, and then they will take it to in the train. They will go to the destination station. There are some other guys waiting for them, and they again segregate it, and they understand in which building, in which street it has to go, and they deliver the boxes at 12:30, which is the lunch timing. They deliver the boxes which have the hot food on the office doors, steps. Now, after the lunch time is over, it's of course they have to pick up the bentos again and deliver it back to the home, so that the next day they get the hot food again. So again at 1:15, they have to pick up the bentos from there, and they have to bring it back to the destination station. Again, it will get segregated because of the color codes, and that again will go back to their originating station. So these 5 or 6 hours is the most crucial time when this activity is done, and that's why I have put what they believe about the time. So it's the time and the coordination and the inspiration which they have, which makes this all possible. I hope you have enjoyed this, and I believe that as of now, I hear a lot of universities across the world have done some kind of projects to understand this system. I haven't come across any Japanese university doing it, and I believe Tokyo University or any university from Japan would like to do something or hear and try to learn, because it's all about supply chain, in which Japan is also a very big pioneer. So thank you from a Dabbawala. You can ask me any questions.
Thank you, Sitesh, for your presentation. Our last speaker tonight is Mr. Kwon. He is a social designer working for Homemaker Japan. Originally from Korea, he engaged himself in producing documentary stories about unemployment civil action 7 years after his college graduation. Since 2007, he started working as a senior researcher at Homemaker Japan, and his main task is to research about cross-cultural exchange and revitalization between Japan and South Korea. He is here today to present a case study on how government and intermediate organizations are supporting the social enterprises in Korea. I hope that this example will serve us all as a good reference, especially for those of you who are involved with designing policies in respective government and public sector organizations in your countries. Please welcome Mr. Kwon.
Thank you, Ona. 皆さんこんにちは。
Hello, everyone. This is my first question. What is the most important thing that you must keep until the end of your life? What is the most important value in life? I guess there are many things, but I believe that is a hope that we have to uphold no matter what. But if you look at the society, there seems to be no hope at all. People cannot find hope in this society. So I work for the institute called the Hope Institute. I'm a social designer. My name is Kwon. We are working to create hopes in the society, regions, and among the people. And you might have this question, what is the Hope Institute and what I'm doing? So I would not be going into the details on these questions, but rather I'd like to focus on the social enterprises in South Korea. I suppose 6 people had been already making presentations and you might be a little bit tired. So I want to give you some time to relax. This is one of the social enterprises in South Korea called Noridan. Let's enjoy. So as you see in this video, all the instruments are recycled. So originally they are waste. The boys pick up these waste and recycle them and reuse them as instruments. And the youngsters playing the instruments are those who cannot go to schools. In the South Korean society, or in our social system, those who do not go to school were not recognized as the full-scale, full-fledged member of the society. But nevertheless, because of the establishment of social enterprise such as Noridan, the youngsters do what they want, but they can act as a full-scale citizens through their activities. So, what kind of background gave birth to the social enterprises in South Korea? Sorry, our time is running out. I hope to see you much longer, but I will just focus on my explanation. So I'm sure these problems are common in your country as well, the poverty and unemployment. So it is the same for in South Korea. Starting in the 1970s, our country experienced the era of the high economic growth, which resulted in a poverty in the urban areas. So, in order to overcome the situation, these people started to form manufacturers corporation together with activists in mid-80s. And in 1998, South Korea experienced economic crisis. And there has been an active movement to overcome unemployment led by the private sector. And the government was quite supportive of this movement. And the government and the private sector cooperated in order to overcome the barriers of the economic crisis. And some measures to systemize this movement were made. And as a result of creating new system, the law concerning the fostering of social enterprise was enacted. So social enterprises were created through systems in a systematic manner. So what is the present status? The law was announced in January of 2007 and was put into implementation in July of 2007. As of September 2009, there are 251 social enterprises as recognized under this law as being a social enterprise. Nevertheless, 47% of them are being concentrated in the metropolitan area, so this is one issue we have to overcome. And the fields vary from the public service sectors such as social welfare and environment and helping of the household chores. But as you see the Noridan or the Nori group, the fields are expanding to such areas as city designing, art, education, and designs. And as for the social enterprises, about 11,000 people are engaged in the social enterprises. They were mostly vulnerable layers of the society, and it accounted for 64% of the overall employment within these social enterprises. So they are mostly women, youngsters, handicapped people, and the elderlies. And of course, there are some disparities, but since I was given some time, I would like to introduce 2 examples. There are many moving, impressive cases. This is called Baekido food. This is a company established mainly by defectors from the North Korea, those people who escaped the North Korean regime to be in South Korea. At first, they came to the South Korea with totally different ideology, and they were unable to adapt to the South Korean society. So either they fell into poverty or they were engaged in criminal activities. But they stood up and decided to establish their own company in order to stay in the South Korea. And they used the raw materials imported from North Korea. They manufactured such food as tea, steamed bread, and cold noodles, and began selling them. And second is a group called Organization Cooking. The Organization Cooking was formed by women from multicultural backgrounds. They either came to South Korea for the reasons of getting married or through immigration. And they too had difficulty in adapting to South Korea because the cultural background is totally different. They were always taken care of. They were always being taught by someone. And by gathering to this organization Cooking, they could share the talents and skills that they have. They can either teach or they can be taught. And the physically challenged people and the mother of single mother family came together. So they were considered to be the weak group within the society. But the weak person got together in order to create a strong company. So there are some very nice social enterprises, wonderful cases everywhere. But how could it be possible? Could the power of individuals can create such successful social enterprises? No, the answer will be no. It will be difficult to create such wonderful enterprises through only by passion of the individuals. And there is existence of the organization to provide intermediary support. In South Korea, they convince the government and large enterprises, and they support and foster those who are willing to become social entrepreneurs. So in concrete, what they do, the intermediary organizations, I think it is important to have the right person, and it is the people who have the ideas and solutions, and it is very important to foster such personnel. And they provide the platform for investment, and they provide training courses in order to foster potential social entrepreneurs. So they are making various efforts. So it's a pity because of the time constraint, I cannot give the examples of all of their wonderful activities, but they are engaged in various activities to support the social enterprises. If you're interested, it's all written in the book. I have introduced activities in South Korea, so if you feel it's necessary, I would appreciate if you could take a look at this book. With this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, so after this fully loaded session, I hope you are ready for the coffee break. So I would like to invite everyone to the foyer. I will see you back in 10 minutes for our fishbowl. You should gear up for this fishbowl because I told you it's a different kind of fishbowl. You will be asked to come here up on the stage with our panelists and share your thoughts and ask your questions directly to them. Thank you. See you in 10.